Hello guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Jesper and today we are going to talk a little bit about how you can do something for your skin. So if you have a little bit of some dry skin and you want to make it less dry, you want to plump up your skin a little bit, if you would like to do something for, if you for example have a little bit of some wrinkles, well, it happened to us all when we age, and hopefully we all do that. But what we can do is actually we can take some pine bark, and it sounds a little bit strange, but you might have heard something about something called PYCNOGENOL, which is French, and it is basically an extract from pine bark. So it is not just an extract as such, because it is actually a very refined extract. So there might be some times when you go out and buy this stuff, and I can just show you which one I am using at the moment. I'm using this one here from Source Naturals, and it looks like this. I have used from the company Natural Factors as well, and I have used one from Now, the company Now. But I found that the one with Now, it also had some lemon extract something stuff in it, and I thought I would rather have something that was just a PYCNOGENOL. I need to get used to saying this French thing, but it is spelled down here, and it's PYCNOGENOL. And what it does is that it actually helps your skin make a little bit more hyaluronic acid, and we have heard a lot about the hyaluronic acid and how it plumps up the skin and all that sort of thing. And usually we are getting hyaluronic acid when we are putting it onto our skin, but it will not really sink very deep into the skin where the hyaluronic acid is actually being produced. When it is being produced in your own skin, it will just kind of like be, depending on how large the molecule is, because you can get some that is a big molecule and some that are smaller molecules, but none of them will sink really deep into your skin. So one thing you can do is that you can boost your own body's production of hyaluronic acid. So that is something that is promised from companies that are producing this sort of stuff. Or if you are looking at a certain company which is actually producing PYCNOGENOL, then they have made some scientific papers where they are investigating if more hyaluronic acid is being produced in the skin. What they found out was actually that when they had, it was 20 women, and they were post-menopausal women. So they were at the age where you might not expect to have a very plump skin anymore, and all these sort of things starts to be a little bit less as you would like it to be. So if you would like to plump up your skin a little bit, then they gave these women, it was 20 women, they gave them 25 milligrams of PYCNOGENOL 3 times a day, and they did that for 12 weeks. And what they realized was that when they are looking at it at the level where they could look at something like a messenger RNA and stuff like that, then they realized that some of the stuff that was used in order to create hyaluronic acid in the body was actually boosted when they were taking this supplement here, the PYCNOGENOL. And what they also found out was that there happened something with the collagen. So some of those enzymes and genes that were involved in producing collagen in the skin or in the body in general was actually stimulated, so that more collagen was being produced when they were supplementing with this stuff here over about 12 weeks. They also referred to another study where they were seeing that the recipients that were using the product, they were actually seeing that after 6 weeks only, that they saw an improvement in the skin. Now here in this study here, they I will link to that so you can read it yourselves. You can see it in the description box. What they were looking at there was that the women that had a very dry skin, they were those that benefited the most. But have I tried it, though I am not a menopausal woman and never will be, then yes, I have actually tried it. And the reason I tried it was that I'm constantly looking at ways to boost the nitric oxide content of my body. So that is something that is dilating the blood vessels and stuff like that, so that or it is helping with dilating the blood vessels, so you have more blood flowing through your arteries, so that will give more nutrients around in your body. So that is oftentimes why I'm looking into nitric oxide. But what happens in this instance here is actually that this PYCNOGENOL, it actually stimulates the hyaluronic acid production in the skin, as they say in this scientific paper. But what I felt when I took it was that my skin was a lot more plump, but I would say it happened quicker than when they were talking about 12 weeks here. The reason was that I took a bit more than they are talking about in this study here, where it was 25 milligrams 3 times a day, because I looked into this other study about nitric oxide, and there they were testing men that had some erectile dysfunction problems, because when you have that, then something like nitric oxide is something that you need to look into. So when I looked at that study, they said that they tried with 40 milligrams 3 times a day. They started out with 2 times a day, but then in the end they went up to 3 times a day. So I just thought, well, I can actually use a bit more, because to begin with I did not really know how much they used in the scientific paper for the women, because I did not have access to it. So I just started out with using 3 times 40 milligrams a day, or that means that I actually took 4 times 30 milligrams, because the only thing I could get hold of in that sort of a milligram range was from Now, and they had a pill where there were 30 milligrams in it, so I took 4 of those a day. And I must say that after a couple of weeks only, I did notice a difference on my skin, and very much I would say I noticed a difference on my husband's skin, because he has a condition called myototic dystrophy, which does a lot of things in the body, and one of the things that is a problem is the production of nitric oxide. So I could see on his skin that it became a lot more plump, and then I could see that on my own skin as well. But I think that where I saw it the most was on his skin. So that's why I also looked a little bit more into what is actually going on, and I will make more videos about it, what is actually happening in the context of nitric oxide and how it has an impact on that. So how did I find out that in this other study with the menopausal women, that they were using 25 milligrams 3 times a day? Well, I actually contacted the people that did the study, and they were very kind, and they did it together with a company, and they are those that are producing this stuff here, the PYCNOGENOL, which is a trademark, because it doesn't matter which what stuff you actually get, and I will make another video about that, so that you are sure that you're getting the right stuff. But they were very kindly sent me the whole scientific paper, so I could see how much they were using and read in general about it. So they used 3 times 25 milligrams a day, and after those 12 weeks they could measure that the women had a more bouncy skin. So there was also something going on with elastin and stuff like that, which is what makes your skin nice and bouncy, together with collagen. And then here in this paper they were really wanted to look into the production of hyaluronic acid, and there were some messenger RNA, so they could see that some enzymes or proteins, they were being produced in a higher or at a higher level than without taking this stuff here. So they speculate that that is simply because the body produced more hyaluronic acid, and that is why the skin of these women were more smooth and more plump. And yes, this was the company that obviously paid for this study, so they produced the stuff and they paid for the scientific paper. But I tried it on my own skin, and I noticed that it did have very much an effect on my skin. So it becomes, I mean, my skin was nice and plump anyway, but I did notice rather a difference. And as I said, I did certainly notice a difference on my husband's skin, and he's a little bit older than I am. So my skin, I would say, is nice and plump for my relatively advanced age. So yes, I would say something like PYCNOGENOL, and you could see it here, is something I would definitely look into if I wanted to do something to get a bit more of a plump skin. Now I started out using those 30 milligrams 4 times a day. And then later I bought from another company, which is something called Natural Factors, which I often use a product from that company. I will not say that I will use all the products from that company, because you always have to look, are there some other things in the pill that you don't want? And that is why I did not want to buy the one from Now, because there was some sort of a lemon extract thing in it. But the ones that I found from Natural Factors, it just had the PYCNOGENOL in it. So that's why I bought that. But that was actually 100 milligram per pill. So apparently I did not notice that apart from when I was looking into it and when I was buying it and calculating what was cheap and what was not and so on. So actually what happened was that I took 4 of those pills for a couple of months. So I have been taking for a long time now 400 milligrams a day, and that is a whole lot more than what they were talking about in the studies. But I did not notice a stronger effect. I would say when I just started out using those 4 times 30 milligrams a day, that's when I noticed a difference. So when I started to take that much more by mistake, I did not notice a huge extra difference. So I will go back to just taking less than those 4 times 100 milligrams a day. So I think I will continue with taking maybe twice a day, like 100 milligrams, so 200 milligrams all together. Because in this study with the erectile dysfunction, when they were looking at that, they were taking basically 120 milligrams a day. So I could just go for 100 milligrams a day, and that would be a little less than what they did then. And I could go for 100 milligrams times 2, so 200 milligrams a day. So I will definitely not continue to take 400 milligrams a day. That is, I mean, there's no need to do that if it's too costly. So I will go down to 200 milligrams, and maybe I will go even lower. Maybe I'll just take 100 milligrams one day and then take 200 milligrams the other day. So divide it like that. So at the moment I am using from this company here. And that is simply because that was what is the cheapest, and how at the moment, because where I buy it, sometimes they have some sort of discounts and so on. So how does the pills look? Well, they look like these sort of brown pills. You can maybe see them like this. And yes, you just take them as you would take any other pill. So really pretty easy. But yes, it is a little bit expensive, and that could be a reason that the people are starting to think, well, can't I just take something that is a little bit cheaper, where it is not PYCNOGENOL with the little R, so not the trademarked one. And I would say don't do that, because then you will get a lot of polyphenols in it that you don't want, and maybe can make you actually sick. So if you just go for something that is some rough stuff that is not refined, then it's not a good idea, because this stuff here is refined so that you have about 70% oligocyanidins, and so what for short, or the name they have come up with for that, is PYCNOGENOL, as you can see on the front here. And they go for the one that has the little R in a circle, because then you know it comes from the correct company. So yes, that is my few words here on this PYCNOGENOL, and how it can help you get a more smooth and plump skin, or at least that is what it says in the scientific papers, and it is also what I have noticed both on myself and on my husband. So yes, if you'd like to see more of this sort of videos, please subscribe, hit the bell, and do all the things you must do now to be notified when I upload more of this sort of videos. Thank you for watching. See you. Bye.